Eagles news has been all over the map after the conclusion of week 2, and through it all, we got a lot of work to do. Offensively, at least, if we're going to have a shot at beating the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry World. Yes, sir. What is going on, everyone? Liddy End Zone in the building for the touchdown, taking the lead for the Eagles, one video at a time, and dropping buckets for the Dallas Mavericks. Looks like the Eagles could use a touchdown from me. After scoring only 11 points, but that's not the here nor there. If you are new and like the diversity of fandom that I bring to the table, love to have you a part of the End Zone fam, and the easiest way you can do that is hit the subscribe button. Been on a bit of a slide. Not exactly sure why. Lost like I think I lost like 3 subscribers in a matter of 3 days. I guess I can't. I guess I can't break that 210 and get over 210, but just trying to do my thing over here, But it is what it is, and you're not going to please everybody. I don't know, but through that, y'all know what to do. If I do a good enough job, love to have you to stick around, hit the subscribe button. Smashing that like helps with the algorithm that gets my content out there to further Bird brothers and sisters and Mavs fans alike. And the notification bell lets you know when I drop my next piece. Yeah, week 2 was underwhelming. Very underwhelming, especially from a offensive standpoint, where through it all, Jalen Hurts still managed to have a better QBR than Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know. You tell me. I have no idea how that was possible, but it's possible. For Jalen Hurts to have just over a 50% completion percentage to Jimmy Garoppolo's 22 of 30. They were both short of 200 yards, but Hurts had a QBR of 62 to Jimmy G's 55. Although Hurts' passer rating was lower, he was at an 80 to 101. I don't know. I don't know. The numbers don't make sense to me from that standpoint, because this is the problem here. So if we take out that bomb to Quez Watkins, that 91-yarder, where there was yak involved, where there was yards after catch involved. Quez still pushing the ball downfield. It took 2 49ers to bring him down. A lot of people were shocked that he was caught by, I believe, the safety, but the whole time the safety had the angle on him, and that's the way it goes sometimes. He was able to bring him down. He had his corner beat, he had his man beat, but the safety was there to make the tackle. He had a good angle. It is what it is. Through that, like I said, and this is the problem, if you take that pass out, if you take that 91-yarder out, Jalen Hurts had 99 yards on 11 of 22 or 11 of 23, however you want to call it, in pass attempts. That's it. Jalen Hurts couldn't muster 100 yards, just under 100 yards, if you take that Quez Watkins play out. That's a problem. That's a massive problem. And I feel at the same time that, Nick Sirianni got into a mood. He got into a mood, and he got into this non-rhythm where he unnecessarily handcuffed himself. He handcuffed the offense. There was just a lot of possible plays that you could have ran against this Niners defense to keep them honest. When you limit yourself in that regard, and it's like, for instance, when a defense takes out the run game and you're forced to pass because you're trying to come back from behind. If you're down more than 2 scores and there's only so much time left in the second half of the game, it's fourth quarter. It's like fourth quarter, 10 minutes left, or 10 minutes, 9 minutes, 8 minutes left. You're down 2 scores. You're not gonna try to run the ball in those situations. You're gonna be forced to pass if the defense is not allowing you to run the football. They're taking an element away. And I think that's what Nick Sirianni did as a play caller, in terms of constricting himself. Like, just when we've seen we've seen a pretty good variety of plays in the first game against the Falcons. Hurts was hitting the tight ends. He hit Hurts, he hit Goddard. He was hitting receivers over the middle. Devontae Smith was sitting in the soft spots of zone coverage. He was getting open. Rager had that touchdown off of the screen, and the offensive line was getting involved in the movement of lead blocking and we were seeing a lot of creative things, that gave us positives for what was yet to come this season, with a lot of new stuff, breaths of fresh air. And now it seems that something has come back down to earth negatively. And but at the same time, this was to be expected too. There's going to be these kinds of growing pains, especially when this is only the sixth game that Jalen Hurts has started in his NFL career. And then you got Sirianni, first-year head coach, last play caller. Jonathan Gannon, first-year defensive coordinator. And then you got a group of guys, trying to make this work. And Shane Steichen and Kevin Patullo. A lot of different personnel on this coaching staff. And stuff like this is going to happen. The only real positive that I can necessarily take away from this game is that the Eagles defense has, the Eagles defense has allowed 20 or fewer points in their first 2 games. That'll win you football games. If you manage to keep opposing offenses to, at least 3 or fewer touchdowns, you got a good shot at winning that football game. And, Jonathan Gannon has got something pretty decent going on here. And, as bad as it was to have our first loss at home, you always got to find that light in the dark, and you always got to find that positive. And I think that positive was, the defense for the most part. They did their job for the most part. Hargrave was a menace out there. You had multiple linebackers with 10 or more tackles. That sort of thing's gonna have to get cleaned up in some situations with the with the D line. But other than that, a lot of these guys defensively have done their job. But outside of that, I was still confused in moments of the coverage where it seemed like it was a Jim Schwartz type of defense, where Jonathan Gannon was giving his secondary guys a cushion for. I'm not sure exactly what the reason was. It's not like it's not like we were getting burnt all game. We held Deebo Samuel to under 100 yards. He had 6 catches on 8 targets for 93 yards, even though he averaged 15 and a half. It's not like he gashed us. George Kittle didn't gash us at all. I think that's another great positive to take from this game defensively. The Eagles defense, now, last year we remember Kittle was 15 of 15 or some crazy number like that. He only had 4 catches on 4 targets for 17 yards. That's all the Eagles held Kittle to. One of if not the best tight end in the game next to Travis Kelce, give or take. You got to give credit where credit's due. And the Eagles defense did their job. This game was on the offense. This game was on Nick Sirianni. He did not help. He did not help his guys. He did not put his guys in positions to succeed. And at those moments, you got to call a spade, and that's pretty much what happened. All right, let's keep going here to finish up the video. And it sucks because this game, like I have in the thumbnail, this was more than just losing the game in general. I'm absolutely heartbroken for Brandon Graham. That voice of the defense that a lot of guys look to. Him, alongside Fletcher Cox, it's those two guys, Cox and Graham. The star-studded leaders of that D-line, of that defense in general. Graham's a massive loss. Graham is a massive loss in the fact that we were already thin at the defensive end position, especially with guys behind him, not named Derek Barnett and Josh Sweat. Yeah, you're going to see Ryan Kerrigan here and there, but what about the likes of, it's like, what about the likes of Teron Jackson? And are we going to have to see Milton Williams in some packages, playing D end, seeing that kind of rotation along the line? What are we gonna do at that spot? It's gonna be tough moving forward. And speaking of defensive ends, Derek Barnett is such a clown, dude. Derek Barnett is such a clown. I don't get it. I don't know what gets into him. It's like, by now you're on your 5th year option in the league. By now you should have figured out how to control your emotions on the football field. These unnecessary roughness calls on him are just irresponsible. They're ridiculously blatant and unnecessary, like just as the foul says, unnecessary, completely unnecessary. And I really hope there is an appropriate disciplinary action from Jonathan Gannon, just when it comes to that kind of behavior in the football field. It's ridiculous by now, because how often have we seen those kinds of calls on him that cost us football games, where it's positive field position when you're trying to get a 3 and out on a team and it keeps the drive alive, or if the team is in momentum and you're just continuing to push it forward. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And then Brandon Brooks is out again. On the bright side, if there's even a bright side to him getting hurt, on the bright side, at least it's not his Achilles again. But as we've seen with Javon Hargrave last year with pec injuries, those pectoral injuries, they're very tricky. They're just as I would think they're just as tricky as calf injuries. And as we've seen, Davion Taylor went out of the game again with that calf. It must not have been 100%, when he was thrown out there. And it is what it is. I mean, so with Davion down again, I mean, at that linebacker spot, for the most part, we seem to be just fine in certain situations. Yeah, we're gonna have to clean up tackling. We're gonna have to shore up this depth somehow. And then now you have to try and And now you have to try and insert Landon Dickerson when he hasn't necessarily had a lot of full practices throughout the offseason. And sure, inserting him, throwing him into the fire against a 49ers defensive line that just recently got healthy with Armstead and Javon Kinlaw back, and then you got Bosa in there. It was a tough ask for him, even though with him being as versatile as he is and a big specimen second round pick here, all of that said, it was still a considerable test. So we're gonna have to see moving forward how well his conditioning is going with that knee. Having to throw him out there in a pinch, next man up mentality. Brooks goes down. Now we can only hope. Now we can only hope for Landon's sake. And then, if it doesn't work there, Jack Driscoll's still hurt. Even though he plays the tackle spot, I think he played guard at some point. But with him at that tackle spot, who's left? Who's left? Nate Herbig? LaRaven Clark's still not ready at the left tackle position. Yeah, this. I don't know. It was rough. It was a rough game. It was a very rough game. Nick Sirianni in that offense, they limited themselves. They limited themselves for no reason. But the best thing that we can really take from this is the fact that there is accountability being taken. Coaches already talked about that he has got to call better plays, and today at practice, I believe that it was about holding coaches accountable, and we can only hope that this pushes them in a positive direction going forward, because Monday Night Football is not going to be easy. We got to go to Jerry World, one of, if not our most hated rival in the Dallas Cowboys. Sirianni's going to find out fast the meaning of beat Dallas week, and he better be up to the task, especially offensively and as a coach, how he's going to handle this. But that's it for me, y'all. I already touched on the Brandon Graham, injury with the Achilles, and I think we already covered everything as this video went a little, unnaturally 18 minutes, but there was a lot that I wanted to cover and congest into this and get all my thoughts out. But let me know what y'all think down in the comments on on the state of the birds. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. I will leave you guys to it. Appreciate y'all hanging out. This has been Lindy. Flag goes fly, bleed green, MFFLs. Go Mavs. Take care of yourselves, everyone.